What's up, guys? We are back with another Star Wars Black Series review, taking a look at another of the Triple Force Friday figures. We're taking a look at the new Rey figure. This is another one that I wasn't sure I was actually going to get. I was just going to kind of wait her out, but then, well, I saw her in the store and I just had to get her because, frankly, she looks pretty fantastic. There is zero doubt in my mind that we're going to have the best Rey figure yet from Hasbro in this box. Of course, this is the first edition package, so it's the same, but different. So we've got her here in our Black Series box, but this again, first edition, so it's got the white background, which frankly I think is pretty snazzy. I'm a fan of this. I know it's called the Black Series, but this looks good. You've got her there in the window. We've got the first edition call out. We've got the artwork down there in the bottom corner. She's number 91, and then you've got a little bit of a write-up on the back as well as more of that artwork. So let's do it. Let's pull her out and take a look. And here she is out of the package, our Episode 9 Rey figure. I've got to say right off the bat that there is no doubt in my mind that this is the best Rey that we've ever gotten from Hasbro. And we're going to do a comparison between the other figures that we've gotten so far, but this thing is definitely a very night and day difference between a lot of the stuff we've gotten, specifically that original figure. So yeah, let's just jump right in and see what she can do. She definitely is a little more on the, I want to say, normal side of Black Series when it comes to articulation, just because of the fact that we're dealing with a female body. So you've got a newer style head, so it is on just a ball peg here, but there is no moving neck. So the head can look down, she looks up, she can bobble side to side a little bit, and then full rotation. The arms do go out at the shoulders, and then they rotate as well, so you've got that. You've got a rotating single jointed elbow, but she does have better than 90 degrees, although just slightly. You've got lateral hinge and rotation over here, and then you got vertical hinge and rotation over here. I really like the fact that they've been doing that lately because it does help with your display and posability. She has got a cut down at the waist, so it's just a ball peg. You can go forwards and backwards, side to side, and then of course rotate all the way around. The legs go pretty much all the way out, but you do have a little bit more plastic to deal with over here, so you just kind of have to, you know, move with it. She kicks forward. She does have a kind of a bit of a skirt piece. It does get in the way a little bit, and then you can kick back. This leg kicks back further just because there, again, there's not stuff in the way. You've got your thigh cut up here. Of course, you've got double jointed knees, and then you've got your rocker, and you've got hinge down at the ankles. I do think that for my money, the ankles might be the worst joint on this particular figure for me, just because the detents in them feel kind of weird. I feel like the actual positioning for the ankles leaves a little bit to be desired. I find her to look kind of not necessarily flat-footed at times when she should be perfectly standing still. Her feet are kind of raised a little bit, so you might have to work with those joints, but she does move about as well as you would expect for a Black Series figure. And then of course she does have a little bit better range of motion when it comes to the head because we're not using a disc hinge anymore. Now, I'm sure it goes without saying for a lot of folks out there, a huge interest on this figure comes down to the outfit she's wearing, and then of course the face on this one. So as far as I'm concerned, just based on toys alone so far, this is my favorite look for Rey. It's very reminiscent of her initial look from Episode 7, while being much more clean, just in the sense of color palette, and then of course her not being covered in really dirty rags. So I just really like this particular look for her. That's really all it comes down to. I like the way it looks. And the color palette here is just really clean and crisp. And it works well. She's got a lot of whites and kind of off-whites. But it's a very kind of quintessential Rey look. When you see this outfit, you can say, yeah, I can see her wearing something like that. And of course, you know, we already have in the trailer, but I just like it. I think they translated it to figure form pretty well. So she's got a number of different layers going on here. There are kind of wraps, and she's got an undershirt. She's got the little skirt piece. She's of course got her pants. We do have a, you know, kind of a hooded, you know, covering on her almost. This is just plastic, but you've got the actual hood there that you can see. You do have her little bag here, which you could take it off if you know, moved enough stuff or took the arms off. So it's a free floating piece that's just got a little bit of paint detail on it for the buckle. Nothing too crazy, but it adds a little more depth to her as far as just the bulk and weight of the figure goes. You've got her holster down here for her gun. If I do have one issue on my figure, is that there is a little bit of belt paint on her white wraps down here, which is a little bit striking, kind of kind of an off-putting mistake, but at least it's on the back, I suppose. So the figure does look really good. She is, again, she really reminds me of that original episode 7 look. She's just a lot more white in her color choices as far as her clothing, but it's really similar to that kind of scavenger look. She's just kind of cleaned herself up a bit, and I like it. That's really all it comes down to. It's not the most exciting figure in this wave as far as color choices go, but I think she looks good, and they did a lot to layer all of those clothing pieces on top of each other with various paint applications, and then of course just the different types of wraps that she has that hang down from the skirt pieces and the stuff that wraps across her chest, the strap, the backpack. I just think it looks good. But of course the hallmark for this figure is without a doubt this head and this face. It's as close to Daisy Ridley as we've ever gotten from Hasbro, no doubt about it. And I thought that the Island Journey Rey did a really good job, but this is a much better likeness. It's still not perfect, and I kind of wish that in this particular instance she wasn't just so plain in her expression. I wish she had some sort of expression, either happy or angry or something going on. She seems a little bored, but the likeness is really well done. I mean, for a Hasbro figure, this is really up there for me. I like just about everything they've got going on. I think the likeness is captured really well in the sculpt. The paint applications from the photo reel, very crisp and clean. Everything is straight on my figure, so there's no real QC issues to speak of. You know, we've got her little buns that are going on with the hairstyle in the back. Not a lot in the way of shading on the hair, but I know that that's usually not a case with Black Series. The sculpt looks good though, and just the overall design aspect of the face works really well. Likeness is captured nicely. Paints are clean. You can't really ask for too much more. Well, at least for some sort of more expressive face, but I do like everything that's going on from the neck up on this one. I think they did a spot-on job, especially when it comes to putting that original figure to shame. And speaking of, we of course have to do a comparison between some of the Reys that we've gotten in the Black Series. So you've got your Island Journey on the left, we've got our Episode 9 in the middle, we've got our original on the right there, and I mean, it's not even a question about which one is best. Our newest figure is easily the best one we've gotten so far. This one I thought was really good at the time, but next to this new figure, even this one is blown away. This is obviously earlier photo reel implementation by Hasbro, and the new stuff is just really knocking it out of the park. But the real comparison is this thing here. This is unequivocally a bad action figure. There is zero likeness there. The paint applications are an absolute mess. So it's not even worth comparing. It's more of just a holy crap, look how far this has come. This is what we were paying, $20 for 4 years ago, and now this is what we get. It's a huge quality leap, and this is probably the best representation of just how far we've come, because this thing is a monstrosity. Now, as far as accessories goes, this figure is pretty loaded, honestly. There's a lot of stuff here. She has, I assume, all of the weaponry that we expect to find in the movie, because they've given her just about everything she has had or will have, by the way it seems. So to start with, we of course have a lightsaber, and this, at first glance, would seem like, well, it's the same saber we've seen forever, but it does have a new sculpt on it. This is not the same hilt, because there is the assumption that the Skywalker saber gets rebuilt in Episode 9, so there's a little bit of new sculpt on this thing, and then it just has different paint details, so there's kind of like a banding around the ignition button that make it look like it's been kind of put back together. So you've got that. You've got her blaster pistol that, of course, fits into her holster. We've seen this a number of times at this point, and I generally don't use it, but it's nice to always get it because I think it's a cool looking gun, but it'll just live in her holster there. We do have her staff again, and this seems to be a retool of the original one that we've gotten, because the actual rod itself is the same, so same sculpt. It's got some wraps on it. You've got the band. The band is new. It's not the same kind of band that we've seen previously, but this thing actually pops apart, so you can more easily put it on her. It pops apart at the top and the bottom, so it seems like there's been a little bit of retooling there. I'm not sure I need this when she has a lightsaber, but of course this was kind of her signature weapon for a little while there. And then we've got the second droid pack-in in this wave. So we've got D-0 here, and this little guy is pretty interesting. He's just a wheel with a head on it, and he's got some articulated antenna on here, so there's 3 antennae on the top of the head, and they all move around. The head of the actual droid itself does not move, it's stationary, and then this wheel can roll, which I wish it couldn't, honestly, because he can't stand up very well on his own. You actually have to utilize this little thing that comes with him, this little plastic nub stand thing, and I swear at times it feels like this thing is magnetized because it kind of sticks to him from time to time. But I don't know, I could just be imagining things, or it could just be friction at work because it doesn't really seem to be magnetized, but then at other times it does. Either way, he just sits on top of that and then he kind of stands still. I wish, honestly, that the base was just flat so he could stand up. I have no reason to make him roll, but I understand as far as play value goes. You know, it's kind of cool. He's a weird looking droid though. I'd say that, you know, for my money, I like getting this kind of stuff. It's a weird inclusion. He's different. He's unique. I'm not sure we need another droid in the sequel trilogy, but he's a weird looking one, and I can appreciate the weird stuff. So he's got a bunch of, you know, kind of wear and tear on him. I'm sure he looks like he's sort of cobbled together from parts, and then there's a little bit of paint detail. He's just more along the unique side of things when it comes to droids we've been getting lately. So yeah, Rey is pretty well stocked. I mean, there's just about everything you could expect to get for her, and then a little more when it comes to getting this little guy here. So overall, this is a really fun figure. You know, when I first went to plan out what I wanted to buy for Force Friday, I was going to skip Rey and just kind of probably wait and get her cheaper, but when I had the opportunity and had her in hand and got to see this figure, I knew that I had to check her out, because this is without a doubt, again, I've said it a couple times, this is the best Rey we've gotten from Hasbro, and honestly the likeness really rivals what we got from Bandai in the figure arts. So I'm really curious to see how this figure is going to hold up to the new figure arts Rey that's coming very, very soon. But for your money, $20 on this figure is a great deal. You get a ton of accessories. You get what, as far as I'm concerned, is probably her coolest look so far, and of course the best figure that we've gotten from Hasbro for me as well. I think they did a really great job on this one. You get just about everything you could possibly want in a Rey figure here. So that's going to do it for this look at the Star Wars Black Series Episode 9 Rey. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.